Name, age, and relationship to the interviewer.
My name is Janine Plassard, and I am 67 years old. And Jason is my second cousin.
Are you or were you married, and did you have a family? If so, describe the family.
I was married. My husband died 3 years ago. I have an extended family that consists of 6 cousins and their children and a brother.
Where and when were you born?
I was born in Glendale, California in 1946. It was a great, exciting happening for the whole family.
Are you the first generation to be born in the U.S.? If not, do you know who was?
No, I'm not the first generation. I would say, I think the 3rd generation.
If applicable, probably not. Can you remember August 6th and 9th, 1945, when America dropped the 2 atomic bombs on Japan?
No, I cannot remember those dates because I wasn't born yet.
What do you remember about November 22nd, 1963, when JFK was assassinated?
I'm embarrassed to say that I was cutting school that day with my friend Bonnie. And we were listening to the radio, and it was a really sunny day in Southern California, so we were trying to get a tan, and we heard it on the radio, and it was very shocking and scary for us. And I don't think Hope in America died that day. We've had a lot of things happen since then, and we seem to be able to continue.
Many people have said that Hope in America died a little that day. Do you agree, and how did America change?
I guess I would agree that Hope in America did die a little that day, although I think that Americans are extremely resilient, and that's been proven over and over by the tragedies that we've experienced in the last 50 years. One after the other, but I think we are essentially a hopeful nation and will continue to be that way.
How about the Vietnam War? Do you think America had lost trust in the federal government by the end of the war, and if so, has the trust ever been won back?
I think that Americans and America did lose trust in the federal government. And this trust was lost by I think the lies that were told about Vietnam. It's ironic, I guess, that this same lack of trust seems to have occurred with regard to the Bush administration and the invasion of Iraq. I recently saw a television program that catalog the lies that were told to people who would be in charge of leading the charge into Iraq. And it's sad that 10, 11, 12 years later we're still battling that mistake.
How do you think the world's perception of the United States changed on July 2nd, 1969, when we first put men on the moon?
I remember that night I was sitting in the backyard with my family and friend and looking up at the moon and thinking, wow, really? Seriously? I can't help but think that the world probably was in awe of the United States and probably thought that we were the Tower of Power.
How do you think the world looked at the U.S. following Nixon's resignation on August 8, 1974, following the Watergate scandal?
I would think that they were probably thinking, shame on you. think that we as a country would probably felt extremely embarrassed. I don't know.
In what way do you think that our nation changed on November 9th, 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down, effectively ending the Cold War?
Growing up and as a young adult, I thought that would never happen, that the Berlin Wall was there and would be there forever. I can't imagine what it was like to be a citizen of that area and having, your city divided. I was astounded that the Berlin Wall came down, and was happy that I got to see the end of the Cold War, because I spent a great part of my youth ducking and covering.
What do you remember about September 11th, 2001, when the country experienced the terrorist attacks on the Pentagon and the World Trade Center?
I was in my classroom at Arroyo Grande High School about 6:30 in the morning when my friend came by and said, "Turn on the television, turn on the television." And we did, and saw the repeated showings of the planes crashing into the World Trade Center, and it was unbelievable, and continued to be unbelievable. How was America changed by this? We now are, I think, we live in constant fear of terrorist attacks, and we're no longer protected. Everything has changed. That attack changed everything.
It is said that that every American citizen has a dream, whether it be wealth, happiness, a better life for their children, etc. What was your dream, and do you think you ever achieved it?
I think my dream was to have a successful career teaching, and I do think I achieved that. It was also a dream of mine to be able to have a piece of property where we could be able to grow a garden and have room to breathe and that sort of thing, and I think we've been able to do that. I feel very lucky in the fact that I'm able to do that.